Alright, welcome to the Zigzag Show. As you can see, we're having a glorious Saturday. Absolutely epic, which has been really nice. I had my first tour the other day. Went around a brewery, Zealand Breweries in the Hawke's Bay, which was epic. Loved it, man. So I went there predominantly to see the difference between kind of winemaking and beer brewing. Now, I suppose I can kind of sum up what I think kind of winemaking and its crux of a gist without, we could spend all day talking about this. But in my eyes, kind of winemaking in the sense, it's the key of it is moving liquid. That's pretty much your job, is moving a liquid substance. So everything that's geared around is holding liquid, moving liquid, containing liquid, and looking after liquid. As wine in itself is kind of an organism. It's like an organic thing, as you've got yeast that ferment the sugars. So in the way you treat it just like a living being, and it kind of grows and matures, and it becomes that smooth, silky adult. But in the beginning, it starts off as an unruthless child. I mean, you get your fruit in, you crush them. Reed fruit, you'll ferment on skins, so you get whole berries. So you'll take the stalks off through a destemmer, and then you'll put them through. Or then you can get different machines that take off the berries to the stalks in a nice motion, so it doesn't crack the berries or crush them. And next, when you ferment, as your yeasts are like an organic, it's like a living organism. It's just about looking after them. So, I mean, they function well in certain temperatures. Different yeasts will do different things. So you want to look after the temperature. You don't want to put any sulfur in there. Sometimes you need to work what you would call the mark, for the reds is all the skins and the berries inside the fermenting wine. You want to plunge those so it gets extraction. So you're getting your tannins and your kind of acids and all your flavor profiles from the berries. The skin is predominantly where you get all your phenolics and your colors, and then you can get a little bit of kind of seed tannins as well, and that kind of comes into when you harvest them. Now after that, it's like looking after something. So you ferment it, you look after it, and then depending on the grade of it, it'll either go to tank or go to barrel. And barrel work is a lot of fun. You have to look after it a lot more, so you'll find your higher end reds will be kind of through barrel, and it gives it that kind of aging process. The barrel lets a little little bits of oxygen into the wine, and it'll help age it, and then through that you've got massive chemical formulas behind it of what do it. But which is funny is that you can understand those chemical formulas, and then you can also just follow it just like a natural organism. So it's growing, you can taste it, you see how it's going. If it's not progressing in a way, you can add oxygen. When it's fermenting, you can just run a bit of oxygen through to get those yeasts kind of all pumping up again. You can hold it at a certain temp, so too low, they're not going to go fast enough. Too high, they're just going to burn through it. And for me, that's the basic kind of idea of wine. So I was really interested in beer, because I've always thought it's more of a clinical and you have to be more sanitary. Now, the way that you move wine is with pumps. So you've got centrifugal pumps and hoses. And you don't mind a little bit of oxygen getting in, like it can deal with a little bit. Now the difference in beer is what I found after talking to this guy is that it's all done under pressure and CO2, so it never really touches air. Like once it's fermented, we didn't get too much than that, but just the moving and the holding. Once it's fermented and it's ready to go, you pressurize the tank and then you shift it out into holding vessels that way. Now I found that really cool. So you got nothing to do with pumps, you got no air, it's all in CO2, it's all pressurized. Pressurized helps the carbonation. The carbonation in beer has got a lot to do with your pressure and your temperature, which you have to find your sweet spot, as I'm told, for it to hold. And after all of that, I think I got a little bit of a logistic kind of idea of the difference between the two and how they kind of amalgamate and the different precursors that you have to making good beer and the things that change. So that was really cool. And then after a yarn, I sat down, bought some beer, just having a yarn about the things. This is the brewery is like a family owned, so they have a family in the background. They have meetings, and it's a family owned business in a sense. It's not kind of like a corporate sense, or some guys have made it and they're wanting to sell it. Which led to a really interesting conversation about the legacy of a business. So I've kind of worked for a few guys. You know, at the moment I work at a small business in a bar, and then we're going to work into a larger style winery, which is becoming a little bit more corporate. And the idea is that there are two different stages of their life. And when you start a business, would you ever think about the legacy of how it's going to end? I mean, you spend all this time building it and seeing where it's going to go, but what happens after that? Is the end goal to sell it? So you kind of make your cash, get some cash in the back pocket, and then you walk away and do something else? Is that what you're doing? Like starting up a business to sell it and then move on and keep going on, just like renovating houses? Or are you kind of making something for like the decade use? So you spend your time doing it, and then somehow you either pass it down within your family, or you pass it along to someone else, or someone buys you out, or you train someone to kind of take over in your footsteps. And this was a really interesting point. Like, I've never thought about it. If you start a business, do you think about the end stages? Like, do you think about that legacy point of where does it go after you're gone? You know, can it surpass you? Does it keep going? And the next guy that takes it over you, he's not going to do exactly the same. He's going to kind of mold it to his own idea, and then it's going to slowly evolve. So I found that all really intriguing. Like, I don't think I can really come to fully comprehend it because I don't really own my own business or do that. I just I'm quite happy. And the final point, I think the final point that I loved from this conversation was that if you enter into opening your own business and you enter it from a kind of a passion side and not entering it in the idea that you're opening it to start your own business, you might lose track that there is a point when you start your own business, you have to do paperwork. I mean, I think the best quote I got from him was, be prepared to turn up at 6 in the morning, leave at 6 at night with your laptop, and then continue doing work at home. And I think that's what it is. So, and it was kind of given, like, if you're really passionate about it and you're not wanting to do that, then go work for someone. Go work for another business. Go work for someone and do it that way. And the changing of ideas of, if you want to start your own business, really treat it that way, and that will help decide the decisions that you make through it, how you deal with like problems that arise and how you solve them, and really that on how you're solving them, your end goal will really state how you solve them and the reactions that they'll have, and then what you end up with. So I found that really cool. It was the first good meet and greet. I was quite happy about that, and it was really good. I really enjoyed that. But anyway, I've got to get ready for work. I've got to go. I'll walk down to the sunshine. And as always, stay hungry, stay foolish. Damn, you've always got to stay classy.